is it going to fix everything? Or why is it important to start switching over now if I've been in the industry for so long, right? If it's not affected me so far, what's a big deal to switch over now, right? What do you say to someone who asks that?
You know what? It's never too late to start. It's cumulative, right? And just because you cannot necessarily feel the effects does not mean that the effects aren't taking place. And so, and that's with everything, the products that you're using in the salon, what are you washing your clothes with or your dishes with, or what kind of pots and pans are you using? Do you have plants in your house? There's so many things. I mean, sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming, but just that, making those little changes reduce your risk.
If you're ready to create a salon business that thrives, but also aligns with your values of clean, holistic, and sustainable practices, then you're in the right place. Whether you're just getting started on your journey or you're already running a successful salon but crave more impact and clarity, this podcast is for you. I'm going to dive deep into mindset, systems, and strategies that help salon owners like you grow and scale your business while staying true to your purpose. Every week, we are going to have real conversations about the challenges, the successes of running a holistic salon. And I'll give you my insider tips. So if you're ready to transform your salon into a powerhouse of purpose, profit, and peace, let's get started. All right. Welcome back to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacquelyn Rodriguez. And today I have Emman Hussny, a virtual functional medicine practitioner. And so she actually lives very close to me. We've been able to meet in person and go have coffee together. And I am fascinated with everything that she's been doing. And I absolutely love how you have been in the medical industry for a very long time. And then you started to switch your practice over to functional medicine. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here with you and with everybody else. So thank you for inviting me. So yeah, I'm a board certified family doctor. I practiced family medicine for 25 years, and a year ago I closed my family practice and switched over to doing functional medicine virtually from my home. I was first introduced to functional medicine around like 2007. I went to this incredible conference called Food is Medicine that was put on by the Institute for Functional Medicine. And it just really resonated with me. I was getting sick and tired of just writing pills for ills and not really getting to the root cause. And it just made sense to me that, like, you've got to work on your lifestyle and you've got to find out the why and address that. Um, the unfortunate thing was I was working for somebody else at the time. So I was seeing like 6 people an hour, which made it kind of difficult to do functional medicine because it's very individualized. And then I went and I started my own practice about 11 years ago and got busy with that. And then during the pandemic, fortunately for me, the Institute for Functional Medicine put all their coursework online virtually. So over 2 years, I took all the necessary modules. I sat for my board exam a year ago, passed my boards, and so was really excited to finally take that transition. I had kind of gone through my own health journey, just like many of you guys, when you own a small business. I had 2 businesses that I owned, and I was just kind of burning the candle at both ends. Kids that were active in sports, and used to be able to do everything on little sleep, and then all of a sudden I crashed. Like, I was exhausted, my gut was a hot mess, I couldn't sleep when I needed to sleep. I put on 20 pounds that I had trouble losing, and that was never a problem for me. It was irritable, I was hot flashing, like, you name it. And I didn't want to go see a conventional doctor because I knew they were going to tell me, oh, it's perimenopause, take some hormones or just kind of suck it up. So like I said, I went on my own journey. I saw a functional doctor, and through the stuff that I was learning, and I was also taking a mentorship with another physician who teaches you how to actually read the functional labs. So not everybody knows how to read them. It's more than just looking at the normal range. You need to kind of know how to apply it to the person. But I was able to get myself better, and it just really motivated me to finally take that step and go out and try to help other people, because I know there are many folks in the same boat, that are just not feeling well. And we know that when we feel better, right, we can do more, we can run our businesses better, we can be more creative, we're better to our employees, we're better to the people that are around us, right? And so, and we have a more positive impact. So, that was part of the reason. And then also because it doesn't make sense to me just to put a Band-Aid on things. Two people can have the same disease, right? Like two people could have diabetes, but the cause could be lots of different things. Could be your diet, but it could also be that you were exposed to toxins. And so that made you insulin resistant. Or, you have an infection in your gut and that's increasing inflammation and making you insulin resistant. So like if I give everybody the same treatment, I'm just band-aiding, I'm not actually fixing the problem. And so this is really, it makes more sense to me that, we need to individualize our approach so that we can actually get people better.
Yes, I agree and believe in everything that you just said. I mean, I do. I go see a functional doctor myself because I felt that same way. I wasn't, and I told you when we met up, like I've been feeling weird, kind of off, and I I know that I have been taking care of my body. Now, I don't always eat super clean because I'm running two businesses as well. I'm burning the candle at both ends. There's lots of things happening there, but I have reduced my toxic overload for a number of years. It's been over a decade now. So there was a lot on that side where I knew that I was doing some things right, but something still wasn't feeling good. And my doctor told me that same gamut. I mean, literally, I said, I'm not feeling great. Sometimes, yeah, it's hard for me to just get out of bed because I'm tired. Well, maybe we should think about some antidepressant medication or anti-anxiety. And I'm like, no, I don't want to band-aid this. And I'm not one to take a ton of medication. So anyway, I mean, that whole experience for me has been very eye-opening in the sense that and I knew it before, but no matter what, even the way that I'm living, I'm eating healthier, doing different things like reducing my toxic overload, but there's still so much that I don't know. And I'm so excited for you to be here because I tell my students, and I'm on a podcast, I'm talking all the time about reducing your toxic overload, especially as salon owners, because we do have a higher percentage of having ailments, whether it is just rashes or allergies and cancers, anything from in between there, right? We have a higher risk factor, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you, like, one of my worst lab results to come back was from one of my patients who is a hairdresser. She's probably in her late 50s. So, she's been doing hair for a long time. And kind of like you were alluding to, like, this toxic load, it adds up, it's additive. So, it's bad enough that you're already getting toxin exposure like the average person through the air, through the water, through the foods that you eat, through your personal care products. Like, your skin is your biggest organ and it takes about 26 seconds for anything you put on your skin to get into your bloodstream. And, if you think about most women, right, start counting up how many products you put on starting from your hair, from your head to your toes, right? It's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff over time. And then, especially in your line of work, you are exposed to a lot of chemicals, the coloring, the dyes, the hair products, getting that into your hands, smelling it every day. That's why it's really, really important for you guys to be doing this, where you're actually using products that are not only better for your clients. I mean, I think that's important too. And I think there is definitely um, a desire from the general public. I know that's what I do. Like, I specifically see a hairdresser that uses clean products because I understand the risk. But like I said, even for yourselves, like, you want to reduce that risk, especially for you women who are younger and still haven't had kids. I mean, all of this stuff
Right.
gets passed on to children that you might have. So that part's really important. And, connecting with a functional doctor, I think, is a good idea because you can actually see what impact past toxin exposure has had on you. Like, is it affecting your cell's ability to create energy? Is that part of the reason why you're tired? Is it because you're not getting enough sleep, or is it because your mitochondria aren't functioning correctly, and they're not taking the protein and the carbs and the fats that you are taking in, but not breaking those things down and burning them, then it's sort of useless, right? And so toxins can damage mitochondria. Toxins can overload the liver, and so your liver is your biggest detoxifier, and so you need your liver to be working in general, because as I mentioned, even if you're quote unquote perfect in terms of what you're buying, or using, there are ways that you are getting exposed to the, exhaust and, by those big trucks, different things. And so you want your liver, you want your cells to be able to process those toxins. And like, for you guys, because you've got that extra exposure,
Yeah.
you're at much higher risk for overwhelming the liver. And so we can see that in functional testing. There's something called organic acids that we do. And then we can actually support the liver to kind of restore function. We can support the mitochondria. We can see if the mitochondria aren't working, or if perhaps you've sort of taken out some of the mitochondria, and support regrowth of mitochondria. So there was a lot of information that you can get just working with the functional doc. It's not things that you typically, would get with your regular doc. You might be able to convince your regular doc to check some heavy metals, but the focus is not that way. And then I think the other part too that's really important, whether you're a hairdresser or not, you're really trying to increase your resilience. And so that's where that lifestyle part of it comes in, So I have two programs in my practice. One's a 10-week lifestyle program, and we really focus on, nutrient dense diet, getting the right amount of sleep, the right time of sleep, hydration, making sure you have a bowel movement. If you don't have a bowel movement, that's one of the ways that you get rid of toxins, how to make your home healthier. So there's all those things. And I kind of like to look at it as a tree. Those are like the roots, right? So we need to focus on the roots. And then with the labs, you're actually individualizing the plan to see what's specifically going on with you, because your life is different. So even though there may be several, hair salon owners watching this, everybody has a different kind of resilience and story to tell. Were you exposed to chemicals as a kid because your mom smoked while she was pregnant, or your dad smoked and you had secondhand smoke? Or I have a client, I didn't realize that there was something called I'm going to forget, is I think it was called Chemical Valley in West Virginia, and she grew up there.
Wow.
So there's all these other ways that you guys potentially could be exposed, and then you add this on top, right? And it's almost like the straw that breaks the camel's back. So um, I think both are really important, that you need to use better products for yourself and your clients. But also, if you haven't always been doing that, then you might want to consider digging in deeper and seeing, how can I catch these things so that it doesn't become a cancer, or it doesn't become a neurodegenerative disease like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, or an autoimmune disorder, or any of those things.
Yeah. Well, and that's to that point of looking at everything, right? Because I have students ask me all the time, well, I mean, if I switch over, like,
Because it's almost like saying, I've always eaten poorly and I'm fine, right? Like, I hear that a lot from folks who are thin. But you can be unhealthy and be thin, right? Like we have thin diabetics and we have thin people who get cancer. And so you don't want to wait until the bad thing happens, right? You don't want to wait until you don't feel well. Um, you know, to act, because I'm sure you guys all know folks that like, oh my God, they were so healthy, and then all of a sudden they got like pancreatic cancer or they got ovarian cancer, and those are tough diagnoses because oftentimes there isn't much time to do much about it, and the prognosis is not really good. So there's I never say never. I don't care how old you are, your body is incredible. So if you give it the things it needs and you take away the things it doesn't need, it restores balance and it restores function. And that's why we call it functional medicine, because that's what we do is we help people restore function to their body.
Yeah, and that's so important to live that holistic approach. It's not just one thing or the other. And that's why in my academy, I teach it's not just the products, because that's what mainly people come in and they're like, okay, well, what products do I switch over? Yes, products are important, but it's everything else that goes around that. Like, what kind of cleaning chemicals are we using at the salon? What are the, um, detergents that we're washing our towels with, or what clothes are we even wearing, the forever chemicals in our clothes,
Yep.
and how much sleep, because we're known as stylists, like our whole thing is that we run so fast that we don't take time to eat, we don't sleep well, we're constantly overworked and everything. All of that plays a part. So it's not just what products you're using to eliminate or reduce that toxic overload, it's the whole approach to everything. And it can be as simple as one step and just having a plan.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you made a really good point also, because I think people just start to think about, okay, what, the chemicals affecting them. But if you're living this lifestyle where you're going client to client to client, you're skipping lunch, you're not going to the bathroom, you're not getting enough sleep, like you're doing all these things, that really wreaks havoc on your hormones, because then your cortisol levels are super high, which affects production of estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid hormone. And then you're also getting these chemicals that are hormone disruptors, and so there's many different ways that the body can be impacted. And it's almost like a vicious cycle, because the body works together. So like if you're having an impact on the liver, that can be stressful to your adrenals and cause hormonal problems. If you're living this sort of fast lifestyle where you're not getting the time to rest and relax, eat nutritiously, all those things, then that causes hormonal issues. And, like I said, just vicious cycle. And the next thing you know, you're starting to have gut issues, because that leads to gut permeability and gut infections and autoimmune stuff. And so it really is important. And those are all things that we look at from a functional perspective. We do salivary testing to look at hormone levels. We do stool testing, stool DNA testing to see, what's the balance of bacteria in your gut? Do you have too many bad, not enough good? Do you have a parasitic infection? Do you have H. pylori? We address those things. And then we do the urinary organic acids that I had mentioned before. And then we work on restoring balance. But yeah, it is definitely, it's really important. And, as a business owner, I think you'll really find that if you prioritize your health and well-being, your business is going to thrive. You're only going to be able to go at this pace for so long, and then you burn out. You either burn out because you're exhausted, or you end up with some kind of disease or illness. And so if there's one thing that you can take from this is like, I need to slow down. You'll actually be more productive. I mean, think about it. Like when you're not feeling well and you're tired, it's really hard to concentrate and focus, right? And so you don't get through things as quickly. But when you're rested, you've eaten nutritiously, you've taken a break, you've gotten a walk outside, you can check more things off your list, because you can, your brain is not clouded. And so I really urge you guys to do that, in addition to cleaning up your salon with the products you're using, both for you and your clients. You'll be better to your clients too. Like I said, it's hard to be creative when you're not feeling well and your body doesn't have the things it needs. And so you got to focus on taking care of yourself also.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And when we are focusing on taking care of ourselves and we're starting to slow down, much to your point of being able to create then that business that you are looking for, that salon that you have been dreaming about that works on its own, right? Because then you've trained from what you're doing, your staff or your team, your stylists, they're happier. So they're coming to work and they're wanting to work.
Yep.
They're not, tired, calling in all the time, taking days off, or getting sick all the time,
Mhm.
right? So they're able to do their job better. So you can step back more as an owner. And then their clients also get that education. So it all trickles down. And then their clients come to them because that connection is better and they feel more taken care of. They feel heard and seen, and they're getting the best of you or of your staff. So it really does play out in every aspect in your business. And that's why I always say it's not just reducing the toxins. It's not just, you know, a marketing scheme. This is truly to start to transform so that you have a business that is going to run for you and you get that freedom back into your life.
Absolutely.
It's so important, right? And the other thing I would love to know, like with all of that being said, right? What should we what's the first step you would tell us to take? Like, do we find a doctor? Like, what if we can't find a doctor? What if it's, you know, what aspect should we take first?
Um, So I can give you some things that you can do on your own. So most definitely, like, make sure you're picking highly nutritious food. And we all know it's like, make sure you're getting protein, make sure you're getting fruits and veggies and good fats. Those are kind of the things that you need. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You essentially take your body weight, you divide by 2, and that's how many ounces of water you need to drink daily. Get some movement. Try to be in bed no later than 10, because there's really important things your body does, especially between 10 and 2 a.m. Get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and do something that helps you to feel less stressed out. I was at a wellness center about 2 weeks ago, and the instructor was telling us, like, you could just even play. If you just even Google like frequency for like relaxation, there are certain sound frequencies that help you feel relaxed, and you can just play that in the background at the salon and just help everybody feel more relaxed. So those are just kind of a couple things that you guys can just start doing on your own. Get really good at reading ingredients on the foods you eat, the products you use. And then, if you're really looking to dive in deeper, and I think everybody can, because I think most people, especially business owners, like we're not really great at always taking care of ourselves. And we take care of everybody else, whether it's our clients or our family or, whomever. And so I highly suggest, connecting with a functional medicine doctor. I work virtually, so you're more than welcome to go to my website. It's husneyfunctionalmedicine.com. And you can schedule a discovery call. It's a 30-minute call where we can see if it's worthwhile to work together. You can also go to the IFM. So it's IF, like F like Frank, M like Mary.org. That's the IFM website. And you can put in your zip code, and they'll tell you who's board certified in functional medicine, because not everybody who practices functional medicine is board certified. So as I mentioned, I took the 6 necessary courses and sat for the exam. It's a long exam that you take. And, like, I feel really comfortable in my lab interpretation skills because my mentor has been practicing for over 30 years, and his mentor was one of the creators of some of the functional medicine labs. And I still go to class virtually every Tuesday from 12 to 1 because it's an ever learning process. So you also want to make sure that whomever you decide to work with, because, most of us myself included, don't take insurance. And so it's an investment, and you want to make sure that you're connected with someone who knows what they're doing. Because I have seen folks who have spent lots of money and they're still not feeling well. And so, like I said, you want to make sure that you connect with a person who actually, has actually done the learning and studying and really understands what they are doing. And then I tell folks, like, what is your insurance buying you, right? Like more pills, more diagnoses. Um, and so it's just trying to find value in, a practitioner that more than likely, like for myself, I can't speak for everybody else, but part of the reason I don't take insurance is it allows me to see less people. So I can really focus my attention on you, so that I'm not distracted. When I had my family practice, I had 3,000 patients. One person cannot, and I was by myself, no other doctors, no nurse practitioner, no PA, nothing. So it's hard to focus that attention on the individual. But now, like, I work with a smaller group of folks, and I can really sit down and think about, okay, this is how they're feeling, this is what happened to them, throughout their lifetime. These are how their labs are, and can really personalize that care. And I cannot tell you, like, a lot of folks will come to see me because they're trying to lose weight, and it's a really great, healthy way to do that. Most of my women are losing 20 to 30 pounds in a 6 to 10 week period. Some of the guys lose 60 pounds, guys,
Yeah,
they always
I
lose
know.
quicker. But the
It's
thing
not
that
fair.
yeah, the thing that I love the most is the transformation and how it impacts everybody else. Like, for example, I have a patient of mine. She's early 60s. She's had 11 kids. Okay, 11 kids.
Wow.
She homeschooled them all. And now she's feeling well enough that she has started her own business that she has been dreaming about for so long. So I'm like, that is so cool. So most people, like when they go through this, and I mentioned it before, when you're feeling better, things become more clear. Like, relationships that weren't serving you start to become clear. um, the way that you treat other people becomes more clear. I had another person, she was a dental hygienist, and she said, I had no idea. My coworkers all told me that I'm so much nicer to work with. And she's like, I didn't know. So I think it's pretty amazing how it's not just the physicality of I have more energy, I'm not bloated anymore, I've lost weight, but the overall impact of your day to day, your relationships with people. And, like, this is a great way to have a positive impact, like on the people close to you, but also for you guys too, your community, helping other people feel better. A lot of people, there's a lot of stress in the world. And I know because when I see my hairdresser, we're chatting, and so when you're in there with that positive energy rather than like, oh, I'm exhausted, like, they can feel that. They can
For
feel
sure.
that. And so you guys need to pour into your cup because like you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so, your clients benefit, but you benefit too, because then you can benefit from that relationship with your clients also.
Yeah, and it really is looking at how you're treating your clients, right? Like most salon owners, we focus so much on the client experience and how they feel when they come in and how they leave and all of that. Well, that's the same thing. You should focus on your life,
Mhm.
your health, so that that client experience is even better, because of that relationship where you're feeling better and you can give more and you're teaching them. Because when I went through my entire journey of shifting things over, it wasn't just, okay, I shifted it over. I took my clients through the entire journey. When I'm doing things like functional medicine, I'm telling my clients about it. And guess what happens? They start looking into it. And then they're like, oh, I have hormone problems, or I can't lose this weight, or I'm not sleeping. And then all of a sudden, they feel better. And then they're tying it back to you. And this is what I teach in the academy too. It's not just shifting over a product, you're creating a brand that is, you become known in your community for clean, sustainable, holistic practices. And that only elevates your business in such a positive way where, obviously we all need a bottom line. We need to make money, we need to thrive and all of that, not just survive. So it affects every piece of it. And you start to bring in more money because you have become a known figure for health and wellness and clean beauty in your community. So it's looking at all those aspects. And there are things that you can do at home. And thank you for sharing those. And then, just like I did, go find a functional doctor. Connect with shoot,
Emman. Dr.
Emman.
Hussny. That's cool. It's a hard name.
Shoot. I was hoping I wasn't going to mess it up. But connect with Dr. Hussny. Look at and go on the website. Just like every episode, we're going to have everything linked below so that it's easy for you to find. But take that first step. And I love working with my salon clients to come in conjunction with the academy, where I'm teaching you how to start to clean up the salon and create that experience. You can work on your health and feeling better so that you have more energy to be able to go through and start to shift things over and make that impact. I think combining those two together are really impactful and empowering because you have both coming together.
Yeah, I'm just one more thing too. Like when you were talking about people's effect on their clients, this is something that I hear over and over again when I hear any kind of business training. You're trying to add value to people's lives, right? And so when you add value in that way, your business will thrive because, people will be like, "Oh, wow, like I really benefited from seeing that person and that person really cares about me." And then they're going to tell other people, because you see that all the time in Facebook where people are like, "Oh, I need a really good hairdresser." And, people don't just say, "Oh, she does great hair," but, "Oh, she's great. That part I think that was a really great point that you made.
Yeah, because you become that authority in the community and you create those raving fans of yours instead of it's just another number. Much like you being a doctor and only being able to see somebody for 10 to 15 minutes, like we have people in our chair for a lot longer sometimes, right? Anywhere from not usually 30 minutes, like an hour to 3 or 4 hours.
Sure.
And we have choices on what we talk about in those 3 to 4 hours, what we share with them, what kind of impact we can create while they're there with us. Yeah, we can talk about what happened over the weekend or what we're doing next weekend or what the latest gossip is. Or we can sit down and have meaningful conversations that really impact our clients' lives, and that will keep them coming back over and over and over again because they trust in you. And they trust in us no matter what. But when you build that trust to be so exceptional, then it's a whole new level, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. Well, I could just keep talking and talking. I love this. And maybe we'll have to do another episode and
Yeah.
dive in deeper to like what ingredients and like how the things are linked. I mean, I would totally love to do that. So maybe
Me too.
okay, yeah, we might have to do that because I wanted to touch on that, but the time just goes by so fast. So tell us again, where's the best place for us to connect with you?
So the best thing is to go to my website. So it's my last name, Hus, like Sam, S like Sam, and like Nancy Y, functional medicine, no space.com. And then I would do two things. I would definitely sign up for my morning routine that's free. So it's a series of emails that'll give you ideas of things that you guys can do at home. And then I highly recommend scheduling that discovery call. Like I said, it's a 30-minute call with me. I don't have anybody who works for me. It's just me. So we get on Zoom. There's a form that you'll fill out. I will review it, and then we'll kind of talk about your journey and see if working together together makes sense. So yeah, like I said, that's the best place is to go to my website.
Perfect. Thank you. And I will have it all linked down in the show notes and in the blog. So make sure you follow those. And are you anywhere on social media?
I am. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And so if you just look up Hussny Functional Medicine, same thing. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. And I try to put you get a little bit better, but I try to put some healthful things in there. And I've got some testimonials from some folks, and I'll also post about like free webinars that I'm doing on different topics. So that's also a good place to kind of check that out.
Amazing. Well, thank you again so much. And thank you, everyone listening. And I would love to connect and hear, what did you take away from this episode? What was the most impactful? And what are you going to take that? Like, what's that first step you're going to take in creating a healthy environment for yourself? And yeah, so thank you. And we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I hope today's episode gave you valuable insight and inspiration to take your salon to the next level. Before you go, I wanted to remind you that the Holistic Salon Academy is opening up soon. So if you're ready to dive deeper into clean, holistic, and sustainable salon practices and build a truly impactful business, be sure to join the waitlist. By signing up, you'll be the first to access all of the details and exclusive content before anyone else. You definitely don't want to miss out. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this one, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps to grow the show and reach more salon owners just like you. And lastly, come hang out with me on Instagram at Clean Beauty Biz Coach, where I'm a real life person who loves to connect with you. I'm always in my DMs answering your questions and would love to chat more over there. Thanks again for being here, and remember, every step forward is a step towards lasting change. Until next time.